Introducing Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel.
Hello and welcome to Fight Picks with the Pros. My name is Chris Holdsworth, and today we're going to review 4 fights on the upcoming UFC Fight Night featuring Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Cyril Gane. Today I'm joined by UFC featherweight Josh Emmett. Let's go! First fight we're going to talk about is Alexander the Great Hernandez versus Thiago Moises. Now, we know Thiago Moises is a jiu-jitsu guy. He got a very fast leg lock versus Michael Johnson, and he just beat Bobby Green in a split decision, which I thought Bobby Green did just enough to win the decision, but we know how that goes with judges. You never want to leave it in the hands of the judges. And then we got Hernandez, who is a very explosive young fighter. He's got really good, powerful hands, really good counter wrestling, and he puts everything together really well. So, me looking at this fight, I think Hernandez is just going to do just enough to keep the takedowns. He's going to not get taken down, and he's going to do just enough to probably land some hard shots and get the victory. But before we call the picks, give me your take, Josh. What do you think? Do you know anything about these guys?
Yeah, I know Moises is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner. So obviously the only way that I see him getting the job done is if he can somehow get him to the ground and catch him in a submission. But like you said, I think Hernandez is going to do just enough with his footwork. He's going to have a lot of good movement. He's a good wrestler, and he trains out of a great camp, Factory X.
Yeah, Factory X.
So I feel like I could see him landing some big shots, and I think he's going to, get a TKO or some type of knockout coming second round.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because they both called each other out, I think, on their last wins. So it's always cool to see matchups when they both call each other out. Yeah. But like you said, Hernandez has really good footwork, and guys who move a lot, they're hard to take down. Mm-hmm. You gotta do a lot of work to take these guys down. So I think Hernandez is going to have that footwork and defensive wrestling to not get taken to the mat and get the victory.
Yeah, I like Hernandez in this fight as well. Like Josh said, Moises is going to have to take him down the ground. And Hernandez, if you've seen him physically, he's quite the specimen. He's shredded, so he's going to be a hard guy to take down. And he's going to be a hard guy to keep down and get subbed like that. Not to mention, I did pick against him in his last fight, unfortunately, because he did get the win against Chris Gritsmacher. And he just looked so much faster than him. He looked like Chris was moving in slow motion. Sorry, Chris, not you.
Oh.
But Hernandez had so much speed, and it was killing me because, of course, I was rooting for the other guy. And he just left the fight with so much confidence, so much pride in his camp and his coaches. I could see it in his eyes that he's ready to really take this seriously and jump in this camp. He wanted to get another fight quickly. Some of them got pushed off in the future. That fight was quite a long time ago. Now he's back in there. So if I have to make my official fight pick, and we'll get your guys' official picks right now. I know you guys are leaning towards Hernandez, but I'm also going to go with Hernandez in this fight. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth, but I think it's going to end up a decision win for Hernandez at the end of the day. Josh, what's your official fight pick?
Yeah, I definitely see Hernandez winning the fight, but like I said, I think he'll catch him in the second round, but I could definitely see him pulling off a decision win, just doing enough to keep it standing, pick him apart, use his movement, stuff those takedowns, and he'll definitely get his hand raised, I think.
Yeah, just to make things interesting, I'm going to pick against Hernandez, and I'm going to go with the jiu-jitsu guy, Thiago, just because it's team jiu-jitsu all day over here. I'm going with Thiago. We're getting the submission in the late fight, probably like third round. All right, moving on to the next fight. We got Randy Rude Boy Brown coming in as the minus 158 favorite versus Alex Cowboy Oliveira coming in as the plus 128 underdog. Now, this is a welterweight fight, and it's a fan-friendly fight. They should be pretty exciting. Brown called it a wild card versus a technician. So, coming from, I think Randy might be a wild striker. But looking at Oliveira, he actually is a pretty wild fighter in my opinion as well. So Oliveira's coming off some previous losses. I believe he lost like 4 of the last 6. He's fought a lot of tough guys though. That's what I really respect about Oliveira. He's always fighting tough guys. He's fought in some main event slots. So he's got the experience. Randy Brown, I think he doesn't have as much experience as Oliveira. So before we get the picks, give me your take, Josh. Have you heard anything about Randy Brown, or are you going to lean towards Oliveira?
Yeah, I think I'm not too familiar with Randy Brown, but I know Alex Oliveira, and he's definitely exciting to watch. He has the experience for sure. You know, he's fought some tough guys. He's fought at 55s. He's fought at welterweight, and he's always fun to tune in and watch. The guy will be dancing on the way out, and you know, putting on a hell of a show. But I'm gonna take the experience. You know, even though he's lost the last 4 of his 6 fights, I know he's fought tough guys, and I'm gonna go with Oliveira. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, you know, Brown is coming to this fight. He had 2 wins. He lost his last fight against a tough opponent, Vince
Luque.
Vince Luque.
Yeah.
And that guy is just
super
an animal.
tough, yeah.
And I like Brown's mentality. He said he's fighting a technician, and he said he's ready to make it sloppy. He said he wants to push some sloppy scrambles, mix it up with some brawls, get him throwing punches he doesn't want to throw. Because he knows if he sits back and he waits and he plays off Oliveira's feints and lets him, you know, set up his strikes, that he could get picked apart. So what do you think, Josh, about him saying he wants to make it a sloppy fight? Like, that's his game plan going into it. Do you think it's smart, or do you think he could get caught?
Yeah, I think in a fight anyone can get caught, but I feel like if that's the style he has to make it, maybe, you know, get into the clinch, dirty box, maybe take him down. But I'm assuming Oliveira is he's a pretty tall fight, so he's definitely, I think, gonna have the reach. So if he just stays at bay and uses his jabs, and he likes to use those push kicks and do some unorthodox stuff, I think Randy Brown needs to make it into a dirty fight. And then if he does take it to the ground, just be careful of his submissions as well.
Yeah, and Randy Brown just went out to King's MMA this last fight, so he's training with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in the game, in the mixed martial arts game, you know, the shoot box.
Yeah.
If you guys are familiar with, you know, the old school MMA, Vanderlei Silva, Ninja, and, you know, the Hua brothers. So, you know, he switched things up. You know, they're very Muay Thai centric there, but they have a great MMA program as well. But let's look to see some knees, some elbows, some clinch work from Randy Brown. But we know Oliveira is a Muay Thai specialist as well, so he's going to have the length and the height. So we might see some knees and elbows from him as well. I'm going to go with Randy Brown on this. I think you know, he's got a good record. He's the younger fighter, and you know, Oliveira's lost 4 of his last 6. So, you know, to me, that's a, you know, he's less than a 50-50 fighter. So I'm going to go with Randy Brown on this one. I think he's going to finish Oliveira probably in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oliveira. You know, I'm going to take the experience over Randy Brown, even though he is a young, hungry fighter. I just think the experience gets it done, and I'm going to go with Oliveira. I think he's going to get a decision win.
Yeah, I'm going to put in my pick here. I'm going with Brown. I think he's going to end up getting the finish. I think it's going to be late in the fight. I'm going to go 3rd round finish for Brown.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Pedro Munhoz versus Jimmie Rivera. Now, I'm super hyped for this fight. This is a bantamweight fight. Both of these guys have fought the best guys in the world. They fought the champs, the former champs, and they're both really good and well-rounded. You know, you got Jimmie Rivera, 23-4, 4 TKOs and 2 subs, and with a 95% takedown defense. Like, you know, that's insane. For that many fights to not get taken down, to have a 95% takedown defense is crazy. But Cody Garbrandt has 100% takedown defense. Just putting it out there. His last 3 fights, he lost to Sterling, he lost to Jan, both guys that are fighting for the belt. Jan's the champ, and then he beat Cody Stamann, who's a stud in his own. So 20 of the last 27 fights of Rivera have all been to decision. So I would like to see him try to finish some fights, but when you're fighting the toughest guys in the world, you know, these guys are hard to finish. So, you know, he's still winning, and that's what's important. Give me your take, Josh. I know you know about Pedro Munhoz and Jimmie Rivera. Who do you got in this?
Yeah, I think with this, you know, and they fought before, right? And
they
Rivera's
did. Actually,
won.
in 2015.
Okay, so
Rivera won.
Rivera won. They know each other really well. I know Munhoz is, you know, he's evolved. He's got so much better over the years. But, you know, if once you beat a fighter, I feel like you have the upper edge on him, you know, just a little bit. And I know Munoz is training specifically for things that he saw firsthand in the fight. But I am going to lean towards Rivera with all the takedown defense. Munoz is a well-rounded fighter, but he's also, you know, he's great when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I think Rivera's going to come out there. He's going to hit him with a lot of they're both going to be throwing calf kicks. But,
yeah,
both of them going to be throwing calf kicks. They throw heavy, heavy hands. and but I'm leaning towards Rivera getting another decision.
Yeah, well, Pedro Munoz has never been finished. He's really durable, and a couple people I've talked to who have fought him are like, dude, he's like a pit bull. He's got no neck. I don't think I've ever seen him like really rocked or dazed. So he's gonna keep coming forward. And like both of these guys are a huge fan of calf kicks. They throw heavy hooks and punches. I'm gonna go with my boy Pedro Munoz on this. I think he's gonna do enough to win this decision. Jimmie Rivera. He's looked okay these last few fights, but I think Munoz has looked really good. He's gotten a lot better since they fought last, and he looks better each and every fight. Even though he lost that last fight to Edgar, I thought it was super close. It probably could have went either way, and I'm going with Pedro Munoz decision on this one.
Yeah, for me, I like this fight. I think this is going to be definitely a great fight. I agree with Josh saying that Jimmie has a little bit of upper hand because he has that win over him in 2015. They're definitely talking about that, referencing that fight, watching film, and to watch yourself, take the loss against them. It just sticks in your head a little bit. Also, Munoz has never been finished. Rivera, on the other hand, has 17 decision wins. So, in my mind, I like Josh's pick on this one. I'm going Jimmie Rivera by decision.
It's time for the main fight pick of the evening.
All right, moving on to the main event. We got Jairzinho, big boy Rozenstruik versus Cyril Gane. Now, this is going to be a crazy heavyweight throwing leather. Both these guys are huge, and they throw bombs. Cyril Gane is like, he looks super athletic. He looks like he can be an action figure. You can pull him right out of a cartoon. And you got Rozenstruik, who, finished Overeem with not even like a minute left probably, and probably one of the worst gashes I've ever seen. Like someone's lip was just like split completely open. And Overeem is, one of the best in the world. So I'm interested to see is Gane's, power going to get past Rozenstruik's technical striking. I feel like Rozenstruik is not the type of guy who throws crazy bombs. He kind of waits and looks for his counters. He's got really good leg kicks as well, really good kicks in general. So he tries to mix that up and, look for those hard counters once everything is set up. And I think, Gane is more of the guy who, tries to land those big bombs using his power and explosiveness to get those KO victories. So, Josh, coming, from these guys that both are KO artists, who you got? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think someone's going to get knocked out. That's for sure. You know what I mean? They're both coming off of wins over JDS too. I think Gane got first round knockout over JDS, right? And I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards him. I feel like he's the more athletic fighter. The UFC is definitely trying to push him and build him up. So I think he kind of gets the job done. I don't think it goes to the second round. I'm going to go Gane first round knockout.
Well, yeah, I like this fight. This is, doesn't get much better than the heavyweight knockout artists on both sides. Rozenstruik, he's won 10 out of his 11 wins are by KO. So he's always going to throw that big bomb, that big overhand right. Saved him in the Overeem fight, right? He was getting pieced up. He was getting beat in that fight. It came down to the last seconds, and he landed that shot. It was pretty incredible. Like Chris mentioned, split that lip open. On the other side, Gane, huge favorite coming in the fight, minus 280 favorite. I've seen him in every one of his fights. He's always a minus 250 plus type of favorite. So that just shows you that the odds makers, the UFC, are really hyped over him. This is no slump he's fighting in Rozenstruik. At the end of the day, I could see the striking negate a little bit and then faint and be scared of each other and end up in kind of a decision-type battle and less exchanges, or it could just unload and so they're going to brawl it out and someone's getting knocked out. I want to see the knockout. I'm going Cyril Gane, end of second round, TKO.
So for the main event, my pick is going to go with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I think the technical striking is going to do just enough to, bob and weave and land that big bomb. I think he's going to hurt him, tire Gane out, and it's probably going to go third round TKO for Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Thanks for watching Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.